Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Friday, the 2nd September 2022, and we've got lots, as always, to talk about this week. Obviously, the 2 rounds of Premier League games haven't helped it. It makes more content for us, but great to talk about. But as always, we'll start by talking about Halifax Cricket League and the Premier Division, and the battle at the top is really on now after Illingworth defeated Copley last Saturday by 141 runs. Illingworth batted first. They scored 196 for 8. As has often been the case this season with the bat, Gaz Fellows was the main man. He scored 86 runs for them. Ollie Thorpe tried to keep Copley in the game and probably thought he had done with taking 5 for 40. But in response, when it came to batting, Copley collapsed to 55 all out. I think 2 players got double figures. One got 12, one got 10, something like that. I'm not sure if that was the right detail actually for the batting. Matty Smith took 6 for 19 for Copley, and that basically did for them, and it closed the gap at the top, like I say, to 2 points now. So the battle's really on, and we've only got like a couple of games to go now, so very, very interesting to see which way the title goes. Bradshaw have moved up to third. They won against London Foot. Now, the details on the Halifax Cricket League site suggest that they won by 6 wickets, but looking at the way the game went, it would suggest he actually won by 71 runs. I think it was because the fact that Bradshaw scored 211 for 4 and London Foot scored 140 all out, so they must have won by runs. I can't see how it would have been at Duckworth Lewis the other way around by that much anyway, and the number of overs he batted didn't make sense, so I'm going to go on the basis that Bradshaw won whatever, let's put it that way. So, and they're in third. Johnny Lister scored 80 not out. He was the man that contributed most with the bat for Bradshaw, and Conor Ryan also contributed 51. When Lud Foot came to bat, they scored, like say, 140 all out. So Isaac Baldwin, 45, was the only real person to contribute with his bat. And Cy Collins, good to see Cy in amongst the wickets. He took 5 for 38, so good performance from Cy. Like to mention him, my old pal, a bit more. And hopefully we'll still see a bit more from him in the last couple of weeks of the season as he tries to push them further up the table. So good luck to Bradshaw in what's left of the season. Booth, they beat Thornton in a big battle in sort of like 4th, 5th in area of the table. So Booth are now 4th, Thornton are now 5th. Booth scored 200 all out when they batted first. Matt Hoyle scored 55, Patrick Thomas scored 42, so they got half a total marks between them. Umbahera took 4 for 74, Matt Weir took 4 for 25, so 4 wickets each for those guys. And then when Thornton battered, there was no Josh Hutchinson. He missed this game, and it probably told as they were all out for 72. Nicky Hutchinson was the top scorer. He scored 29. A good all-round bowling performance by Booth, saw them home. Umbahera scored 14 at the opening of the innings, but had to retire injured, I believe, so that didn't help Thornton's cause either. So disappointing result for them, but good result for Booth. That takes them into 4th. Sorby Bridge beat Whalley by 2 wickets. Whalley batting first scored 246 for 9. Good innings from Chris Marsh. Good to see Marsh doing well. 94 runs there for him. Nolan Bottomley, another good contribution for him as well. He scored 76. They were 2 main men for Whalley in the batting department. Jake Dixon took 5 for 49, and Sam Miller took 3 for 49. So good to see Sam getting in the wickets as well. He's not had such a great season by his own standards, so I'd be pleased to get back in the wickets there. Sorby Bridge and good old Lord Chris Metcalf, 58 runs. He was the top scorer. Tim Helliwell also at the top of the order, 51, and an unbeaten 45 near the end by James Taylor. Saw Sorby Bridge 250 for 8. See him on by 2 wickets. And we had 3 wickets each for Connor Mitchell and Ian Shaw. So well done to those guys. Mythenroyd, they beat SBCI by 118 runs. Mythenroyd 255 all out. Matt Schofield scored 94 and Luke Sutcliffe 49. So a good contribution from those 2 guys. And we had 3 wickets each for Lewis Firth and Daniel Sykes for SBCI. So I felt they were still in the game to some degree there, although it was a decent total by Mythenroyd. But SBCI could only muster a total of 137 all out. They were disappointed with that. Rob Larkin, he got 44 not out towards the end of the innings, but he was the only real significant contribution throughout, really. And we had 3 wickets each for 3 bowlers. We had Taufik and we had Shazad, who got 3 wickets each. Shazad Hassan and Taufik Ahmed, and Joe Kershaw took 3 wickets as well. And that was enough to see the Myvenroy boys over the line comfortably, really, in that game. So go well done to them. And in the final game from last weekend, Triangle beat Great Orton Park Chapel in the Battle of the Basement. Now that helps Triangle a little bit to close the gap to 10th place. I think it's Bewley were 10th, so they've still got a chance of trying to get out of the bottom two. Triangle 255 for 8 batting first. Cal Fletcher using experience again, 50 exactly, half century was out. Nathan Madden 49, Adam Stocks 42. And then in the Great Orton Park Chapel innings, captain Adam Beasley scored 57, and Ishrat Ahmed also, I mentioned him first, really, got 59. So decent contributions from them too, but it wasn't enough. They fell short by 55. There were 2 wickets left at the end. I know it's classed as a draw technically, but they fell short of the target. Tom Fryer doing the damage with the ball. He took 4 for 31 for Triangle, so a good result for them. So it's certainly all to play for now, coming into the last couple of games. And this Saturday, the big game is probably Booth against Illingworth. Booth 4, Illingworth 2nd. So a very important game for both sides there. Copley are at home to London Foot, so they'll be fancying a chance of winning that. Will Copley? London Foot will be trying to prove them otherwise. Sorby Bridge take on Myvenroy in what are classed as a mid-table battle. 2 teams that have come into a bit more form recently and doing okay now. SBCI are at home to Great Orton Park Chapel. Triangle are at home to Thornton. Thornton will be looking to get back on the right track after, I think it's 5 defeats in a row now, and Triangle trying to fight to get out of those bottom 2 places. And then we've got Worley against Bradshaw. Bradshaw will be fairly confident, I would think, of winning that, but again, Worley need to win that to stave off the threat of going down into the bottom 2. So let's hope the weather plays nice. The forecast is for showers, I believe, as of tomorrow, so let's hope it doesn't interfere with the games too much. We're getting to the vital stage of the season now. So that's where we are with the Halifax Cricket League. Elsewhere, we're going to look at England now in terms of cricket, and England beat South Africa by an innings and 85 runs in a second test against South Africa to win, to level the series up at 1-1. The final test starts next Thursday at the Oval, so it's all to play for there. In this game, it was the innings of England's Ben Foakes 113 not out and Ben Stokes 103, where England amassed 415 for 9 in their only innings of the match, which was enough to see them home. In the second innings for South Africa, Ollie Robinson was the main man with the ball. He took 4 for 43. Good to see him back. He's had a few health issues in the last 12 months or so, so good to see him back, and hopefully he will start the next game as well, and England can win the series. Just sticking with England at the moment as well, and quite ironic I mention the Oval because Jason Roy plays for Surrey. It's the rumour this morning is that he's going to be left out of the England T20 squads to go to Pakistan and to the World Cup in Australia, so he'll be disappointed with that, but his form has been really poor. I believe at one stage during the summer in the T20 Blast he had 3 ducks in a row, and that's not the form of an England player, and you can see him when he walks off shaking his head, so hopefully they'll come back stronger, but his form's not been good, and it wouldn't be surprised if he was left out, because we probably have got 15 stronger players, and we are quite blessed in the batting department. You know, when you talk of people like the possibility of David Milan being left out when he's been the world's #1 T20 player, and he's performed so well in the 100 as well, he's justified his place. Talking of the 100, the eliminators are today. In the women's game, we have Southern Brave taking on the Trent Rockets, and the winners take on the Oval Invincibles tomorrow in the final. And in the men's eliminator, we've got the Manchester Originals taking on London Spirit, and the winner of that take on the Trent Rockets in the final tomorrow. And like I say, Milan's been a big part of that, and Alex Hales. So I'd fancy Rockets to win that. I'm not too bothered about who wins it because it's not really my cup of tea. I've watched a few of it. Can be quite entertaining, but you know, it's not really traditional cricket. It is cricket, but not as we know it, Jim. So moving on now to football, we finished with the cricket and FC Halifax Town, and they got their first win of the season on Monday after being beaten by Notts County 4-1. Disappointing second half performance where we gave away 2 really sloppy goals. They bounced back with a victory at Scunthorpe 2-0. On the back of that game, Scunthorpe have sacked their manager Keith Hill because they're sinking down to close to the bottom. They're next to the bottom. Halifax have moved up from bottom to 21st, so 4th from bottom now, and they'll be hoping to continue the revival tomorrow away to Maidenhead. It probably won't be easy because the away game, it's quite a long way away. We've already had 2 poor results in and around the same area of the country and around London, so they'll be hoping for better tomorrow. Like I say, we picked up away at Scunthorpe, which is more local. I'm not sure if that's anything to do with it or not. Maybe it's more to do with the fact that Kean Spencer's back. Hopefully it won't be long before Matty Warburton's back in the team as well. That'll certainly strengthen us. We just need to carry more of a goal threat. I know we won 2-0 at Scunthorpe on Monday, but one of them was deflected and the other one was basically a big mistake by Scunthorpe. So I can see Angelo Capello maybe getting a start tomorrow as well. Again, start on Monday. He's looked lively in the 2 games he's played for so far. I didn't see the game on Monday, but I watched the game at the show on Saturday, and he looked quite lively when he came on. So I'd like to see him giving him a chance. I think Manny needs a goal. He's not scored yet. His hold-up play's been good. His general play's been good, but he needs to score a goal as a striker. We brought him in to score goals, so he needs to score some, or he's going to get dropped. In terms of the actual league itself, Chesterfield are top at the moment with 14 points. They're followed by Wrexham on 13 alongside Barnet and Wealdstone, who have both had good starts to the season. They're both beating the Sherman. I think this week's live game is on Sunday lunchtime. I've got a feeling it's Wealdstone and Woking, but you might want to check that out if you really want to watch it. Okay, moving on to the Premier League now, and it's Arsenal who are unbeaten so far. They've got 5 out of 5 wins, 15 points out of 15. They beat Aston Villa on Wednesday evening by 2-1. To be fair, it could have been 4 or 5-0 at half time. Villa fought back in the second half, got level with a great goal straight in from the corner from Douglas Luiz, who thankfully is not leaving and going to Arsenal, he's staying at Villa. But Arsenal look really good. They've got the big acid test this weekend. They're away to Manchester United at Old Trafford, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Second place at the moment was Manchester City. They're 13, so 4 wins in that draw they had at Newcastle a few weeks back. They beat Nottingham Forest 6-0. A second hat-trick for Erling Haaland. 9 goals I think he's got already in about 5 matches. So anybody who worried about whether he's going to be good enough or fit in the Premier League, I think you've already got your answer. He's going to be one of the best players ever, and he's only got 251 goals to get level with Alan Shearer now. So Harry Kane will probably pass him first, but in the long run, maybe Haaland, if he stays around long enough, will beat that record. Leicester are bottom of the table on 1 point. They had another defeat last night at home to Manchester United. They did play a little bit better in the second half, but in the first half they were really bereft of any ideas or clue what to do. I don't know if it's down to the players, down to Brendan Rodgers, or just a general feeling around the club. It seems to be a bit like you were saying on the commentary, Robbie Savage, and he's summarising. But there was a very notable lack of atmosphere in the stadium. It seems to be in a bit of a downer at the moment, so let's hope things pick up for Leicester. Villa are next to bottom on 3. They need to pick up points. Unfortunately, the next game is what we're going to be talking about in a moment. It's playing Manchester City, so they're really struggling. Apart from that win they had at home to Everton, who looked really poor as well. They've not done a lot, although Everton did pick a point up at Leeds on Tuesday night, so they'll be a bit more confident now. It'll be interesting to see what impact the players that are coming in the transfer window have for some of the teams like Villa. Villa have signed Jan Bednarek on a season-long loan after a long-term injury to Diego Carlos, the centre-half. And they've also brought in Leander Dendoncker from Wolves into the midfield. He would have possibly filled the role that Douglas Luiz had if he had left, but not sure how good Dendoncker will be or how well he'll strengthen the team, but the coming weeks will show what impact he might have. So looking ahead to this week's action, and we've got on BT Sport Saturday lunchtime 12:30 kick-off, we've got the Merseyside derby. We've got Everton versus Liverpool at Goodison. So Liverpool have been rocking a little bit, but they look more like their normal selves. In the last gasp win against Newcastle, the Liverpool fans not happy there with the amount of time wasted by the Newcastle players. But and Klopp made a point about that after the game. But they did win 2-1 in the 97th minute of 95. And we've got the later game on Saturday is Villa against Man City at 5:30 kickoff. That's on Sky. The other games on Sky on Sunday at 2 p.m. Brighton and Leicester, and the main game Sunday 4:30 p.m. at Old Trafford. Manchester United against Arsenal. Memories of Pizzagate, Cesc Fabregas, Ferguson, Wenger, all that. Keown, Van Nistelrooy, so many things. But it'll be a test of Arsenal's defensive mettle, will this, away from home at Old Trafford. United look a bit stronger, they look more organised. United's defence look good, and Arsenal's strike forces look good, with Jesus making a massive difference for them. The main concern may be whether Martin Odegaard will be fit enough to play for Arsenal or not. They've got some midfield issues as well. I believe they've got Thomas Partey's out, and I think El Neni may be out long term, so that's why they've been trying to strengthen their midfield a little bit. So they tried to get Douglas Luiz, as I mentioned, but they didn't get him. So yeah, we'll be interested to see how they get on Sunday. So that's this week's action in the Premier League. Then we move on to the Champions League, which starts next week. Match day 1, Tuesday and Wednesday this week. Tuesday we've got Chelsea in the early kick-off. We're away to Dinamo Zagreb. Celtic are at home to Real Madrid later on, as are Manchester City are away to Sevilla. They're both at 8 o'clock. On Wednesday evening, Rangers are the early kick-off. They're away to Ajax. And then we've got an 8 o'clock kick-off game away to Napoli for Liverpool, and Tottenham are at home to Marseille. Thursday, we've got the Conference League and the Europa League. Europa League, first of all, and Arsenal are in the early kick-off in Zurich. And Manchester United in the later kick-off are at home to Real Sociedad. And in the Europa Conference League, we've got West Ham at home to West Ham are at home, and so are Shamrock Rovers. Shamrock Rovers are playing Djurgården from Sweden, I think, and they both kick off at 8 p.m. So well done to Shamrock Rovers on qualifying for the group stages of the ECL. Okay, we're going to talk about rugby league now, because we've done our bit on football. And Halifax Panthers had a big victory again on Sunday. They beat the Bradford Bulls for the third time this season by 40 points to 18. That more or less cements their place in third in the table. That's where they're likely to finish now. It's only points difference that can stop them. There'll be a massive turnaround in the last 2 games. They have got 2 tough games left, actually. The next game's Monday evening live on Premier Sports. They're away to Widnes, who have picked up. So I think it's since John Key has become the coach there, they've picked up massively. They can't make the playoffs, but they've started winning some games and pushing some of the top sides. So it could be a tough match there. And then the following week they've got Featherstone at home at Halifax. So if we did lose them, it'd be more of how it affected the confidence than anything else. But the likelihood is they're going to be playing either Batley, Barrow or York at home in the first round of the playoffs. And then obviously if they win, they'll go on to play probably Featherstone, I think, in the semi-final. Lee will play one of the other teams that I've mentioned already. So they're the teams that are going to be involved in the playoffs. Moving on to Speedway now, and well done to Dan Bewley, who won his second successive Speedway Grand Prix. He's up to third in the standings now on his home track in Wrocław in Poland. He scraped through. He had 2 wins. He had 2 Gate 1s, which he started his first ride and his last ride. He won those. He went a bit off in the middle, but when it came to the semi-final, he blasted away, and in the final, he won comfortably. So fantastic, Dan. He never got to a final before Cardiff. Now he's won his first 2 finals. Also mentioned to Robert Lambert, he came third, so he won the rostrum as well. And Ty made it to the semi-final. All 3 British riders were in the semi-final together, the second semi-final, which is a shame, which means they couldn't all qualify. But they were up against Bartosz Szmazlik, and Dan and Rob knocked him out. Ty tried to knock him out as well, but he got past him on the last bend. But even so, great results for them. Leon Madsen finished second. He's up there pushing now. I think he's 16 points behind Szmazlik at the top of the standings, and then Dan's a further 8 points behind Leon, so he's done really well as Dan. Robert Lambert's up to 7th now, so he's in with a shout of a qualification place as well. I think Ty's 8th, so they're all in with a good shout of qualifying, so it's good, looking good for those guys from Britain. On the domestic scene, Ipswich are still top of the Premiership. They've got 37 points. I think they've got 3 matches left. Wolves are second on 34. They've only got 1 match left, and that's away from home. I think it's either Kingsland or Peterborough, so they probably will win it anyway, but they've only got 1 match left. Sheffield are on 33. They've got 5 matches left, and 3 of them at home. And Bellevue have got 32 points. They've got 4 matches left. They've got 1 at home, which is on Monday against Sheffield. So that'll be a really good match. I'm hoping to go to that one. Hopefully the weather plays nice for that. And then they've got 3 away matches against, I think it's Kings Lynn, Peterborough and Sheffield as last one. So they'd hopefully pick some points up, because their away form doesn't mean so good. It's the home form this time that's carried Bellevue to where they are. So the likelihood is they'll finish 2nd or 3rd. You've got to say, looking at it, it's probably going to end up with Ipswich at the top, Sheffield 2nd, Bellevue 3rd and Wolves in 4th. And I think I heard it mentioned that the team that finished top play 4th, so I think that'll suit Bellevue and Sheffield to have a derby, because I don't think Bellevue will want to go to Wolves. They beat them at home on Monday, but they lost at Wolves, and they always seem to struggle around the Wolves track, especially with the team that they've got at the moment. But we'll see how that all pans out, because there's still a bit of a way to go yet there. Tennis next, and unfortunately Emma Raducanu was defeated in the first round of the Women's US Open, so her title defence didn't last very long. She lost to the French veteran Elise Cornet. That's a disappointing result for Emma, but she said she'll come back bigger and stronger, so let's see how it goes. Australia's next for her, I would think, in January. In the men's competition, the British players are doing really well. They've got 4 players through to the 3rd round. Andy Murray's through to the 3rd round. He plays Matteo Berrettini today. We've also got a game for Jack Draper. He's playing against Karen Kachanov today. And then tomorrow We've got Cameron Norris in his third round. I can't remember who he's playing. I think it's something Runer. I think he's playing, and then Dan Evans is playing against Marin Cilic in the third round tomorrow. So well done to those guys. One other player I forgot to mention was Harriet Dart. She made it to the second round, so she did a little bit better than Emma, but she didn't do too badly really. So well done to her. So that's where we are with the British players in the tennis. Medvedev's still the favourite for the men's tournament, and Iga Swiatek is still the favourite for the ladies tournament after Simona Halep was knocked out. But you can never on the men's side you can never discount Rafael Nadal, can you? Or even the young lad Alcaraz. You know, he's 6-1, something like that. So worth keeping an eye on those two, I'd say. Okay, next we've got NFL, and the NFL season starts this coming week. The first game will be in the early hours of Friday morning, so it'll have been played by the time I do next week's podcast. And it sees the Super Bowl champions, defending champions, the LA Rams, against the Buffalo Bills. Go around the outside. Sorry about that. Yeah, they're playing the Buffalo Bills anyway next Friday, early hours of Friday morning, our time, late Thursday evening in the USA. So the season's going to get underway the following weekend, and we'll talk more about that next week. And then finally, before I go, stock cars. There's no stock car meetings this weekend, but I just want to say well done to Daniel Ford. He won both finals at the meetings last weekend at Bradford and Sheffield. I believe he's from Sheffield. He was a yellow top. He has been a blue top in the past. He may have been red, but I think he's likely to be red after winning those two finals last weekend. I think he automatically goes up a grade for winning two finals in the same month anyway. But somebody who follows stock cars more closely than me at the moment can probably confirm that to me. About I don't know the rules exactly. There's no meetings this weekend. It's the World Final next weekend, but we have got 3 meetings next weekend, including the meeting at Mildenhall. I said Myvenroyd then. That'd be interesting. A meeting at Mildenhall for the Dutch drivers, overseas drivers. So there are going to be Norwegian. What's going on here? New Zealand drivers. Tom Harris will be the favourite of the World Final. He's been racing in the USA. I saw something on Twitter or Facebook in one of the groups. I'm in the stock car group, saying he won a race in the USA last weekend. So well done to Tom. But we'll cover that in more detail next week. So until then, I think that's all for me for now. I hope you've enjoyed watching as always. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe on YouTube. And any feedback, anything you want to see me cover going forward, just drop me a note either in the comments on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter. Or or send me a private message if you want, so that's fine. Okay, well thanks for watching and see you all next week. So until then, it's bye from me.